Well, thank you for joining us today in our Wonderful Day in the Lord broadcast. We began to look at a storyline yesterday concerning a young man, perhaps not necessarily Solomon's son, but someone that he's kind of using as a picture for his son Rehoboam and saying, look, son, don't be like this. Here's a bad example. Here's what you do not want to do. And so he's developing for us a storyline. And the first picture was of this young man that he says in chapter 7, verses 6 through 8, is a simpleton. He's naive about what's going on. He's deceiving himself and trying to deceive other people. He lacks sense. He's setting himself up for sin. So that's what's going on in the first picture of this story. Now the second picture, or second chapter, has to do with the lady herself. And we see in verse 10, and behold, a woman comes to meet him, dressed as a harlot and cunning of heart. So we start with the fact that this woman is going to try to entice him, to draw him in. And she's dressed as a harlot. Now, as we follow through in the next few verses, it would appear she's not really a streetwalker. She's not really a prostitute. She's probably a married woman. She has a home and probably a husband and perhaps some children. And so this is not her lifeline, but she, for whatever reason, has decided that she would dress in this inappropriate way, and she would flirt in this inappropriate way, and she is wanting to entice this young man to herself. And so that's our picture of our lady. We find in verse 10, she's cunning of heart, she's sharp, she's smart, she's a trickster. And so she knows what she's doing for whatever reason, through whatever methodology. She's learned to be cunning. So she knows how to set a young man up. She knows what she needs to do and to say to draw him to herself. And so she's using all of her wits, all of her abilities to do that. And then it talks about her attitude in verse 11. She is boisterous and rebellious. Her feet do not remain at home. Boisterous is the idea of causing a great commotion. So not only is she on the spot loud, perhaps, and in that sense, but she's about to cause a great deal of problems for somebody. Her own home, perhaps, if she gets caught. This young man's life could be absolutely devastated and ruined by this situation. In that sense, she's boisterous, and she's also rebellious. She knows what's right. She knows that the things that she is attempting to do or is involved in is wrong. She knows that, but she has chosen to rebel against what she knows. Her parents taught her the right things. Her spiritual leaders taught her the right things. If she's read the scriptures, she knows the right things. But she chooses to go a totally different direction. She does not want to do that which is right. And so this is the picture of our lady at this time. It's an ugly picture of a woman who is perhaps more sophisticated, more in line with the ways of the world, and she's about to set up a young man for a horrible fall. Then we go to the method. What methods does she use? That's our third picture, the third chapter in this story. And we see in verse 13 that she seizes him. So she seizes him and kisses him. And with a brazen face, she says to him, I was due to offer peace offerings today. I have paid my vows. Therefore, I have come out to meet you to seek your presence earnestly, and I have found you. And so she's saying to him, look, I've done my thing spiritually. I've done my peace offerings. I'm all dressed up and so forth. And I've come out here today, and I am flirting with you. She seizes him, it says. Doesn't say what that exactly looks like. Perhaps she hugs him or whatever. She kisses him. And so she is drawing him in through these methodologies. Verse 21, she entices him. With her many persuasions, she entices him. And so she is trying to draw her net around this young man. She wants him to come to her and to be involved with her. And so she knows how to do that, perhaps through words, perhaps through actions as we've seen, but whatever, she is enticing him. And then finally it says with her flattering lips, she seduces him. So she's now speaking, she's saying the things that he wants to hear. Things that would cause him to let down his guard, and if he has any hesitation about involvement with her. She's minimizing that. Perhaps she's saying it's no big deal. This isn't a big commitment. This isn't something that really matters. This is just a fun evening, and we can enjoy one another, and let's not worry about it. I don't know what she said, but she is somehow enticing him and seducing him, and unfortunately, our young man is going to fall. And that's what Solomon is warning about, this kind of a setup. So that's the storyline, and now tomorrow we'll pick it up and start looking at some of the consequences that result from the fall of this type of individual. So you join us tomorrow as we look at these things.